crowd, guys, just go ahead and get set up, please. Start right here.
Harrison, just the crowd, the whole atmosphere, just how big is that for you guys to get this first one under your belt?
It was incredible all night. I mean, I think when guys ran out for layup lines, I think how loud it got in there, I think everyone got chills. I think that was pretty special just for us, just to see the excitement that, everybody had. I think that, guys were just playing off that adrenaline all night. I mean, I think it was a lot of emotions coming in this game, and I think for us to settle in, our first playoff experience together and get a win was big.
Harrison, De'Aaron's done this over here, buddy. De'Aaron's done this all season long. We've seen it here in Sacramento. But for him to do this on a playoff stage in front of the national audience, what do you think that does for him and then for this team moving forward?
I expect nothing less. I mean, there's probably a lot of people, around the country who haven't necessarily been tuned into Kings games, but that's who he is for us. He steps up in big moments all season long. He's poised, makes big shots, big plays defensively. So, it was great to see him in that moment.
Harrison, how big was that run at the end of the third quarter there leading into the fourth? And related, what do you make of the performances you got from Malik Monk and Trey Lyles?
Man, shout out to our bench. I mean, Malik, Trey, Davion, Alex Lynn. I mean, I think everyone just coming in, giving us great minutes was huge for us. I mean, we talked about doing it by committee coming in this game. We knew that they would, obviously, a great offensive team. We knew we had to throw a lot of different bodies and a lot of different people, different matchups, and I thought those guys came in and gave us a huge lift tonight.
Yeah, Harrison, Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Back to Alex Lynn. It seemed like, you guys were prepping him up in those last couple games in the regular season, but tonight he really came through. Can you just talk a little bit, about, his work ethics and, and being ready for an occasion like this?
Just a true professional. There was large stretches of the season where Alex wasn't even playing, but he just stayed patient, continued to work on his body, work on his game. Towards the end of the season, obviously got, a few more minutes, but, for him to step in tonight, I think he played like 13 or 14 minutes, but just the lift that he gave us in those minutes, I think was huge for us.
Harrison, Joe Davidson, Sacramento. For you personally, you had some tough years here as a team leader. How much joy are you feeling to get this one in?
Man, it's crazy. I very first got traded here. We were pushing for the playoffs, and I had a vision of what it would be like to make the playoffs here in Sac, and it was a lot of long days, just working and just being in the facility, being in these games. And so, to run out there tonight and to see that and to see the fans, it was exciting, but, honestly, it was a little emotional just being a part of that and really just happy for the fans.
Yeah.
Harrison, Sarah Hodges, CBS 13. I feel you just spoke on the emotions, and I felt like I saw that you were showed a little bit more emotions than you normally do. Was that just because it's the playoffs, or was this one maybe a little bit more personal to you?
No, I mean, it's for sure more personal just because, I mean, like I said, it was a lot of long days. Just seeing Bobby, seeing Vlade, seeing Jay Will, on the baseline tonight, that was big, because a lot of those guys, I've talked to them a lot. They were influential and just helped me understand the culture of Sacramento and what the fans have meant. And I think to come up short year after year and then finally have that moment where, like I said, you're able to run out and obviously play and get a win here tonight, it was big.
Sean Cunningham, Fox 40. Harrison, there's so much talk about your guys' playoff experience. Do you think a lot of guys took a big step forward in kind of that maturity tonight?
It's huge. It's funny. It reminded me of my rookie year where you kind of go out there and you don't really know what the stakes are, so you just play loose. And there's some situations where, when you're an experienced team, when you're a veteran team, maybe you look at some situations and you realize, like, this is the moment. But for us, good and bad, we were playing loose tonight. So I think for us, it's just continuing to understand what it's like to play in a series. Obviously they're going to respond. They're going to make adjustments. We're going to make adjustments. That's how the series goes. But, I think it was a good first night for us, just taking a step forward.
HB, you guys had 17 offensive rebounds tonight. They turned the ball over a few more times than you, so you got up 8 more shots. How important were the extra possessions? How important do you think that'll be through the rest of the series?
It's big. I mean, we didn't necessarily shoot the ball particularly well tonight. So anytime, in the playoffs, you can get just extra shots, extra possessions. That may be the one play that makes something happen, whether that's, a layup for Fox or Domas or Kevin gets a shot or Malik gets a shot, whatever it may be. That's huge. And I think for us to just understand the value of possessions, throughout the season, we just have played so fast. And I think in the first half, really, the game's slowing down. Us not shooting well. Guys are really kind of able to see that rather than just us talking about it in theory.
Yep. Brendan Nunez, Kings Herald. You guys ran a lot of box and one in that second half. Just how well did the coaching staff have you prepared to show them different looks defensively, and how do you feel like you guys did executing that?
I mean, Mike had, told us before the series, we're going to try different things. You just never know what may happen, who may get hot. So, I think guys, responded to that on the fly well, and we expect to continue to do stuff like that just throughout the series. But, guys were on the details tonight.
Harrison, see this team again in about 48 hours. So, what do you got to do, to keep up that momentum?
For us, it's simply just who's going to have a greater will. I think both teams, we know each other extremely well through the regular season. We know who the main characters are. So I think for us, it's just a matter of who's going to do the little details. And I think that's going to determine ultimately each of these games is the rebounds, the turnovers, the 50-50 possessions. Who's going to have a greater desire to come up with those?
Guys, Jason Anderson, Sacramento Bee, congratulations. De'Aaron, first of all, you get to this stage for the first time in your career and come up big for your team. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on your performance tonight, and Malik, if you could talk about the way De'Aaron played tonight as well.
I mean, obviously we all want to be in position to do this, and you get out there. For me, I wanted to see, how different the game is. I want to see how physical the game really is. How much can you essentially get away with? And I think the first half I wouldn't say shocked, but it took me time to get adjusted to it. And I think he did a hell of a job carrying us through that first half. But in the fourth quarter and at the end of the game, like I said, we talk about this countless times. My teammates are confident in me to go out there and make plays for myself and others. So the least I can do is go out there and believe in myself.
Yeah, man. Fox been doing this all year for us. I knew he was going to turn it on in the second half. It just took him a little minute to get adjusted. That's why we a team, and we got other players out there to do what they do. But yeah, man, Fox has been like this. He's been great for us all year, and he continue to be great for us.
For both of you, and I'll start with Malik. Just Sean Cunningham from Fox 40. Malik, when you came over here, I know we talked about it a lot this year, how close you two are as teammates. What does it mean for both of you to have this type of game in a win in your first playoff experience, knowing your history going back to college and even before?
Yeah, man, that was my reason coming here, to change the culture with my homie, man. And we knew we had a great chance as soon as I came here. We just had to be together, and we stayed together all year. We laugh, have fun, and I think that's why we just out there together and never get down. But yeah, man, it was fun, man. The environment was so great. The fans are great, and I can't wait to play again Monday.
Yeah, like you said, man. We laugh together, we have fun together, but we also go out there and we get on each other. Him and Trey are probably the hardest on me, outside of the coaches on the team. So it's just a connection that we have, and we know that it's never personal. We all want to go out there, we all want to win, we want to see each other succeed. So when you have guys on your team, that'll get on you, but it's out of love because they know what you can do. There's not much more that you really want as a player.
Chris Peterman, Sacramento Bee. Malik, you throughout the year have made it clear that you're pretty fearless and aggressive when it comes to scoring. How far back does that go for you? Like, do you remember your earliest memories in basketball and being aggressive? And De'Aaron, how much have you gotten to see that from Malik throughout your friendship, knowing each other?
My whole life, man.
I was about to say.
My whole life. I've been trying to score my whole life, man. And yeah, it's just me, man, learning the game more, knowing my spots, and just not taking bad shots. He helps me with it. He put me in position too sometimes. I put him in position sometimes. But yeah, man, I've been like this.
Yeah, since as far back as I can remember. But like you said, with the taking better shots, he definitely takes better shots than he did some years ago. But for me, just seeing the evolution of his game, not only being a scorer, but being one of our better playmakers, and I think being one of the best playmakers in the league, if not just, off the bench as well. So, his game's evolved so much, and I think his game is built for a stage like this, where if you have a three, you take a three. If you have a mid-range, you take a mid-range. If you have a floater, you take it. If you get to the basket, you get to the basket. You get to the free throw line, you make your free throws. There's nothing on the offensive end that he can't do, so that just makes our team that much more dynamic.
Mark Haynes, Sacramento Observer. De'Aaron and Malik, at what point for both of you guys did you guys know you had something special going on here this year?
For me, obviously, I've been here for a while, so I would say during the summer, to be honest, just seeing the guys that we brought in, even going back to the deadline last year, we kind of saw what we had, what we could do, but then getting Malik and getting Kev this summer and then drafting Keegan, that's a lot of shooting, that's a lot of length, and that's a lot of athleticism. So once I saw the roster that was being built, I thought that we could be really good. And I think it took us a while to gel together throughout the season. But at the end of the day, I think we're a pretty good team right now.
I knew early, man, especially. That's why I came here, like I said earlier. I seen the pieces. I knew we were going to be a sleeper. So that's another reason why I came here, to wake people up. And I think we did that.
James Ham, ESPN 1320. De'Aaron, 40 minutes of play, the 38 points is impressive, but to be honest with you, your defense was probably some of the best we've seen from you in your career. Just how much is that who you have to be, and how exhausted are you after doing that on both ends of the court?
Did y'all see that clip of J.R. Smith, talking about Delhi? Did y'all see that clip? That's just real. it's real. Obviously, I didn't guard Steph the entire game, but like most of the first quarter, most of the fourth quarter, I guarded him. That clip is real. Obviously, my team wants me to do things offensively, but and Mike talked about it as soon as he got here. Offense, he's not worried about what I can do offensively. He wants to see me be better defensively, and that's something that I'm trying to that I want to take the challenge of doing. And I think we've all seen it in spurts, but I want to be able to do it throughout the course of a game. And playing 40 minutes, scoring 38 points is cool, but just trying to be as disruptive as possible while guarding, if not the best player in the world, the best player to ever, jump shot wise, shoot a basketball, not just off the catch, but off the dribble. The guy's probably one of the craftiest players to ever touch the ball. Just to be able to just try to be disruptive for me, I think is the biggest step, and I think that's kind of something that I don't care to prove to anybody else, but I want to prove to myself that I can go out there and just try to hound some of the best guards in the league.
Colin Ward-Henninger, CBS Sports. This is for De'Aaron. You've been here your whole career over here. You've been here your whole career. I'm sure you've envisioned your first playoff game here many times. I'm just curious how tonight the atmosphere compared.
Truth be told, I actually thought it would be more Warriors fans in because I've played them 4 times a year for the last 6 years, and I've seen it. But so I think Sacramento showed out tonight. I think it was Trey walked by and he was like, "Yo, this is the loudest arena that I've ever played in." And we've talked about that before. We know what this fan base is about and what they want to do. And like I said, we want to win for ourselves and for each other and for everybody in this organization. But doing this for the fans, just knowing the way that they support this team, through thick and thin, like through really thin. I think it's just a testament to the way they are. And it was definitely a great atmosphere tonight.
De'Aaron and Malik, you have to turn the page now. Game 2 is on Monday. How do you do it? Like, what's the process?
Good question, man. We're going to come in tomorrow, watch film, see the things we did wrong, and go from there. We're going to celebrate the win tonight, come back tomorrow, and we're going to lock in on that. So I can't tell you how we're going to win it on Monday.
Yeah, we enjoy this win right now. Obviously, it's just a long series. It's a long series. You never know how many games it can go, but for us, we enjoy this tonight. We come back tomorrow, and we hit the ground running.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Malik, I have to ask you this. With the bench, you came in second quarter, got your 15 points. There was a quarter when Trey Lyles hit 10. Every bucket was big. And Alex Lynn, with little minutes that he did have, he was really impactful. Just want to talk about, did you guys have a discussion about what type of work that you had to do coming off that bench?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I always try to tell the guys we got to come in and have more energy than the first group so they can come in and pick it up just how we did. And I think they did a great job with it. A-Lynn was huge for us, man, giving us different looks, especially down, blocking shots, getting rebounds, just changing people's shots. And Trey always going to be Trey. I always tell him to shoot the ball every time. And just be confident. So I always have a conversation with the bench every time, before every game.
De'Aaron, you've been teammates with Harrison Barnes for a long time. Just your thoughts on what kind of leader, steadying presence he is. The typical versatile game, but just what he means in the locker room and in general.
I mean, exactly what you said. Just a very steady presence. He's someone who we ask to go out there and guard some of the best. I mean, there are times where he's guarding AD, guarding Cat, he's guarding guys who he's given up 4 or 5 inches to. Then tonight he comes to me, he's like, "Yo, I got Steph for a while," because obviously I'm chasing him around. He's like, "Save your legs a little bit." He goes out, he guards Steph. He makes big, timely shots for us. At times we can go to him in the post. Like, he's able to be a playmaker or a scorer. He does a lot of things for us, and him being the oldest guy on the team, like, he's been there, he's done that, he's been in big games. So, I mean, we look for that in him, and I think that's what he wants to do. I mean, everyone in here has met HB. You've talked to him. Like, you can just feel the aura around him, and you kind of just always know that it's always a calm aura around him. So when he's out there or when he's talking, everybody listens, and he helps his team tremendously.
What a game! First of all, I just gotta acknowledge our fans. Our fans were off the charts. I mean, it was deafening in there. It was extremely loud, and so you got to take your hat off to them because they brought it. They brought it for us tonight, and you can feel the energy. My son Elijah told me when he got to the building, he texted me right before the game. He said, "Dad, the energy in the air is unbelievable." And this is before tip-off, so I applaud our fans. We're going to need them to continue to be there for us night in, night out, because it's not easy. It's a long journey, and we just got to keep taking it one step at a time. And we need everyone behind us in Sacramento, which I feel we definitely have. I thought, our guys, they competed. They stayed poised, especially when we went down. Golden State, again, they're champions. And you're going to have to try to take this from them. It's not going to be easy. They're good. They're going to go on runs. We may go on runs. And we have to stay the course until that buzzer sounds at the end of the game. So for our guys to do that, even when we were down, was fantastic. Obviously, Foxy and Malik were terrific for us. They both hit the record books for playoff debuts. Obviously, Malik coming off the bench and his point production for a playoff debut, and Foxy, obviously starting and him having a playoff debut. They were big for us, especially when we couldn't get a bucket during the course of the game. And that's what you need. You need guys to step up. Especially you need your all-stars like Foxy did tonight. He was absolutely fantastic. I thought our physicality on both ends of the floor was good. Our pace was good in the second half. We ended up scoring 10 fast break points in the second half, which was a huge difference than what we had in the first when we only had 2. And, again, I'm going to be preaching that the whole playoff run, physicality, pace, physicality, not just in the full court, but in the half court too, and physicality, not just defensively, but offensively as well. And speaking of offense, I thought our sprays changed the game. We did a better job in the second half of touching that paint and finding guys on the our bench was really good. Davion, Trey, and Alex. I already talked about Malik, but those 3 guys were really, really good for us in a lot of different ways. It's one game. Obviously, we'll take it, but we understand that this is a long journey.
Coach, congratulations. Sounds like maybe some country music and Modelo are in order tonight. I don't know, but what can you share with us about the way you defended? Steph didn't get a very good look there. I know it was a very short clock, but what can you share about the way you defended their last shot and where that broke down for them?
Well, I mean, he's capable of making any shot, and you just kind of hold your breath until that thing bounces off the rim. It's no secret we wanted to take away the three-point line, and that's what we tried to do. But in the same breath, he's so crafty that once he faced up, you had to try to contest, but not to do it where you're picking up a foul. Because if you foul him in that situation, we all know he's making all 3 free throws. He's about as good a free throw shooter in the history of the game as anyone. So, again, we guarded the three-point line. We did a fairly good job with it. He ended up breaking free at the last second. He had to rush, taking that 1-foot three-point shot, which at the end of the day you got to live with as opposed to fouling him.
Mike, Matt George, UBC 10. Over the course of the season, a couple times you talked about you can't always call timeouts to regather the group. You need them to do it yourself. How pleased are you with how they responded to Steph and Clay's kind of big shots in the fourth quarter to make sure things didn't get out of control?
No, I'm excited. We had an extra timeout to burn, and it was close. Not just to stem the tide a little bit, but I thought our guys would, especially Foxy, because we ran them, would need need a quick blow. But we kept mixing in stops with big threes that they hit, and we were pushing it. And I did not want to hinder our pace at all, and that's why I didn't burn. That's why I didn't use extra timeout, because I thought every time we got it off the glass, and even after the makes, we were trying to get it up the floor, and I didn't want to take that away from them, because that's how we're going to have to play throughout our playoff run.
James Ham, ESPN 1320. Mike, we've talked about it all season long with you. You started early in preseason talking about how De'Aaron has to be a two-way player for you guys.
Yeah.
The 38 points was nice, but his defense tonight was probably some of the best we've seen in his career. Just what has gone into that, making him that type of defender?
Well, first of all, he's embraced it. He knows that he has to be able to do that in order for us to attain or achieve our goal. He's got to be a two-way player if he expects at all, at any time, to win a championship, and he's got to do it at a high level. He was really good tonight. You know, we try to give him a rest from time to time by throwing Davion in the game and letting Davion chase Steph around. We also mixed in a little bit of zone and box and one, and we're going to have to keep trying to mix it up, you know, throughout the course of the game. But he's going to have to be not only elite for us offensively, but elite defensively. And that's what an all-star does. That's what a first, second, third team All-NBA player does. They rise to the moment, especially when the moment's really big.
Like we know Malik right here. We know Malik's got a big personality, and when he plays, he's always aggressive and getting his shots up. But to see what he did tonight, what'd you make of that, particularly in his playoff debut, and how much does his personality rub off on his teammates when he is encouraging guys, and particularly guys off the bench, to do what they do?
Malik is a confident individual, and you can feel that when you're around him. And, you know, I told him there were a couple of times where I thought he touched that paint, and he had a couple of sprays in the first half. And I told him, I said, Malik, I said, I'm not trying to call you off your shot. I'm going to live with you shooting the ball. But when you touch that paint, if you can feel it, we got guys wide open on the perimeter because they're either A, trying to blitz you, or B, and so they're sending two at you, or B, they're sending a second, sometimes a third body when you hit that paint. I said, now, again, I know you can score, and if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you do what you want to do, and we're going to live with it. And, you know, you could feel Malik's confidence, and we need that in games like this because he ain't afraid of me, and he ain't afraid of the moment, which is what we need.
Coach, Mark Devon, Davis Enterprise. Third quarter, the scoreboard showed you guys missing 18 of your first 22 three-pointers. You guys end the game making 8 of your last 10. Talk about that turnaround, how you made it happen.
Well, we can shoot, and I told our guys I thought we had some wide open looks in the first half that we normally make, and they just didn't go down. And so we kept encouraging our guys, if you're open just even a tad bit, let it fly. We got to play fast, and if you're open, let it fly. If you pass up a shot to drive and all that other stuff, we'll probably get a worse shot. So trying to instill that confidence in our guys, even when we weren't shooting it well, was big by my entire staff and our vets because they kept letting it fly, and we finally, caught fire enough to knock a few down towards the end of the game.
Mike, Jake Aiden for CBS 13-1. Did anybody win the chain?
Alex Lynn.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And two, you said you need everybody when this playoff run hits.
Yeah.
Domas, Keegan struggled a little bit tonight. What do you want to see of them when they take on Game 2 on Monday and changing their game and their approach?
In this situation, you got to have a short memory. That's the biggest thing. You got to have a short memory. They've done it all year for us, and so we're going to keep encouraging them to play their game. If they are in position to score, go ahead and do your thing. But don't hesitate at all. If they hesitate, that's what would hurt us more than anything else. We all have confidence in them.
Tony Harvey at NBC Sports Radio. Coach Brown, you've been pretty much preaching about mental toughness all season. That fourth quarter fury, would you describe that, as something that your team just upped the level and just rose to the occasion?
100%, and more so throughout the course of the game, especially when we were down. When we were down, again, not being in a situation like that when the stakes are as high as they are in a game like tonight against the defending champions, you could have easily said, hey, we got 7 games to win for. It's okay if we don't get this one. Let's fight and figure it out for the next game. But our guys mentally stayed locked in and kept trying to do the things that we asked them to do by being physical on both ends of the floor and getting out in transition and trying to increase our pace, especially in the half court. So that takes a mental toughness as well, and our guys showed it tonight.
Mike, Jason Anderson, Sacramento Bee. I asked you a week or so ago what playoff Fox might look like, and you said you wanted to see it first.
Yeah.
Now that you've seen it, I just wonder, what is it about his makeup, his skill set, what you know about him that might make him able to thrive in these kind of environments?
You know, his skill set is off the charts. You know, I mean, he can shoot threes. He's got a medium game. He can get to the rim. He can get out in transition. You know, things he does offensively, he's so shifty and crafty, and he hits difficult or tough shots. It's really fun to watch, and you know, you need guys like that on your side because, again, they know everything that we're throwing at them. And so there's no secrets. You got to have guys on your team that can go make plays. And Foxy went and made plays tonight, and that's just a testament to who he is. What a playoff debut! I mean, you can't ask for much more than what he did tonight. The biggest thing though that I felt and that I continue to see from him is, in order to be great, you have to have a short-term memory. All the greats that I've been around, hey, they move on to the next play speed, baby. And Foxy did it. I think he had 9 points. He was 3 for 8 in the first half, and that did not hinder him. And that was fantastic to see.
Yeah, Coach Brendan Nunez, Kings Herald. That boxing one that you mentioned, we saw a lot of in that second half. What allowed your team to be successful in running that, and how well do you think they did of going in and out of that coverage as you called for it from the sideline?
They did a great job, and we don't work on it a ton, you know, and it was part of our game plan as coaches going into this series. And I won't forget, we were in the coaches meeting, and somebody said, "Hey, let's work on the boxing one. Let's work on this. Let's work on that." And I said, "No, we're not going to, because the beauty of us going to a boxing one is we don't really know what we're doing, which that may confuse the other team. So let's just let them play." And to back that up, you know, when we were slapping the guys' hands going around, Alex Lynn, first thing he said to me, he said, "Coach, hey, can we go over the boxing one? Because I don't know what I'm doing." I said, "That's a good thing. Don't worry about it." And I kept it moving. So we have some principles, but the biggest thing is we just got to talk or communicate with one another, cover space, and if somebody gets cracked, then you go ahead and switch it.
Michelle Dapper, KCRA. Coach, Harrison Barnes called this an emotional win. What do you think this win means for a guy who's been through the highs and lows of this franchise?
It means a lot, you know, and not just for him, but it means a lot to all those guys because, you know, I said this before, when you have a team that is inexperienced in a lot of different areas, you got to find little victories and celebrate them just so that they can continue to believe. And the more belief they have, that's the more dangerous that team becomes. And so getting this win for sure is an emotional win, especially with us being down with the defending champions in game one. And hopefully that's going to give us a little bit more confidence going forward.
Yeah, Coach Sarah Hodges, CBS 13, just to go off that, just to be able to come up victorious in game one against the Warriors, how huge is that, as well as just building that confidence?
It's huge, you know. You lose a game and doubt can start creeping into certain guys, you know, especially guys that haven't been on this stage yet. You're playing against the defending champions and so on and so forth. And so when you can go out there and you can get a win, especially in game one, especially at home, that always helps the psyche going forward. Thank you, guys.